I have shared a lot on my channel about the FIRE movement, and I've even done a whole video dedicated to my personal plan for reaching financial independence. So I recommend actually checking out that video if you haven't before. It goes into quite a bit of detail and it's quite informative, if I do say so myself. But in a very short 16 months since I made that video, a lot has changed in the economy. And so the question could be, is what once seemed possible with trying to achieve financial independence or retire early, if that's what you're interested in, is it still possible today? I'm going to say that yes, it is still possible, and that is my personal belief, and I'll share why I think it is still possible in today's video. So I won't go into too much detail in terms of the exact plan, but I thought I would do a quick plan review for those of you who are new around here, or for those of you who have watched the video before but maybe don't quite remember exactly what I said. So I am aiming for a form or a type of financial independence somewhere within my mid-40s. And the type of financial independence I'm aiming for is barista FIRE. But I say a form of financial independence because the goal for me in my mid-40s isn't to fully live off of my investments. The goal is basically to use my investments to pay for the essentials by the time I reach my mid-40s. So that would be things like my mortgage, my utilities, groceries, essentials, things that I need to basically keep warm, have a roof over my head, be fed, the basics. And so in aiming for this type of financial independence, it means that, well, for us, it means that along the journey, we are still really living and enjoying life. I can honestly say with my hands up, I don't feel like I'm deprived of anything. And that's just because it's a personal choice that we have made to really enjoy today and not just look at the future and just aim for the future. Whereas, you know, some people who are more aggressive with trying to achieve financial independence, they're willing to go without today in order to have a bigger, better tomorrow. And I fully think it's fantastic for those who can and choose to do that. But for us, that's not really the approach that we're taking. So we're enjoying today, but we are planning for the future, but not having a super aggressive savings rate as some people are who are aiming for financial independence. So in aiming for this barista FIRE approach, as I said, the goal is to live off investments for essentials. So that would mean still having to work for the wants and the luxuries in life. And you know, one thing I would say about this is I'm only 30 years old now. Only, but yeah, I think that's still quite young. I'm only 30 years old right now, and I highly doubt that by the time I'm in my mid-40s, say 45, that I will want to completely stop working. I think I would get really bored, and I just don't really see that as a life for me. So, you know, that's why barista FIRE is something that had appealed to me and my husband. We both don't want to stop working when we're in our mid-40s. But what would be really nice, and the whole point of this, is to take the I have to work because I have to pay bills out of the equation and change it to I choose to work because I enjoy what I'm doing, and I want to have some wants in life. So just to kind of change that reason behind working and really start to focus on working out of a place of passion and purpose, whether that pays a lot of money or whether it doesn't pay as much, it wouldn't really matter because, again, all of the essentials would be paid. Things have very clearly and undoubtedly gotten a lot more expensive since I made that video almost a year and a half ago. I mean, every little thing I can think of has gone up. And also in our personal life, we have a child now and I'm currently on maternity leave. So that has also had an impact on our finances. But I will say that this hasn't actually blindsided us. Having a child or having children is something that we both wanted. And I also know that, you know, back when I started this investing journey, COVID had just hit, just hit. And so I knew that there could be a turbulent time ahead. I can't say I didn't see things changing along the way. And I did talk about that in the previous video to say that this is the plan, this is the goal, but things will probably change along the way, and I'm happy for that to happen. But as a result of both things going up in price and now a child in the equation, our current savings rate has definitely reduced. So before, where we were able to, when I say savings rate, is whether it's going into savings or investing. So before, between 30 and 40% a month would be able to go towards savings or investments. Now that everything's gone up and I'm on maternity leave, so we're on a reduced income, things are going to be closer to about 10% per month. And then even towards the tail end of my maternity leave, I mean, it may go down to 0, so because we'll be on one income only. So these are the things that have definitely changed since I made that video. So this means one of two things. Either we will have to have years of a higher savings rate to make up for the years of the lower savings rate. So, you know, some years we may have to be more aggressive because of years where, like this year for us personally, where we've had to cut back, or we will just need to push out when we are hoping to reach financial independence. So it may not be 43 or 45, maybe 47, it may be 49, it may even be 50 or beyond. But that may be something we have to do in order to take into account the changes that we are currently experiencing. So what hasn't changed? So the goal of reaching financial independence someday hasn't changed. I really strongly believe it is so important to have goals, and dare I say goals that even stretch you. So yes, trying to reach financial independence in my mid-40s is a stretch goal. It's not the norm, it's not what people do. It is something that will take sacrifice along the way and, you know, strategy and really pushing towards something. But, you know, I think having those type of goals that make you a little bit uncomfortable is really important. But when you have these kind of goals, it is equally important to be flexible, to be open to change, to adjust those goals along the way. So yes, have goals, but also be flexible, because a goal isn't really there to stress you out. In fact, it's just definitely not there to stress you out. It's not there to dictate your life and only live in one rigid way. It's there to motivate you, and it's there to provide some guidance. The other thing that hasn't changed is the stock market. So I have only been investing properly for about 3 years now, and I would consider myself a very young buck in terms of investing. One thing I can say from the wisdom and the experience of long-term investors is that the stock market has waves. It will constantly be up and down, and that is the nature of the stock market, and that's what makes it work. For people who have been doing this for years or decades, this is just what we're going through right now in terms of the stock market being in a downturn or us having a bearish stock market. This is just a part of it. They're not even batting an eyelid. In fact, some people say, who've been doing this for many years, they are just in fact throwing more money into the stock market right now when things are down, when things are bearish, because, you know, they're getting stocks at a discounted price and they're just taking full advantage of it because they've seen this happen before. And if you haven't seen this happen before because you're new like me, then just have a look at historical data. Of course, disclaimer, past performance is not indicative of future performance. Yes, we all know that. We all have to keep that in mind. But looking at what's happened in the past does help just for you to understand how the stock market generally works. So if you're planning to be in it for the long haul like me and you are feeling discouraged, then I would definitely say do some research on investing. Like, get a solid investing mindset. Speak to somebody who's been doing it before for a long time. And if you can't find someone who's been doing it for a long time, then, you know, read some books from people who've been doing it for many years, or have a look online to find people who've been doing it for many years and get an understanding of how they see it, what they're doing. And hopefully this will just be a good way for you to understand how you can make these harder times or down times work for your good in the future. So, is financial independence dead? Well, not really. But is it a bit more out of reach for the everyday person who, you know, is now having to deal with rising costs and has less discretionary money in their budgets to save or invest? then yeah, probably so. It is probably a bit more out of reach. It probably is a bit more difficult. But if this was easy, everyone would be doing it. And if everyone was doing this, then we'd probably be in a bit of a problem in terms of the labour market. So as always, I appreciate you watching my videos, supporting. I still really love this YouTube community, and I feel really privileged to be able to create these videos and for people to even take the time to watch them. So thank you so much for that. And if you haven't already liked this video, then please do like. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel and you've already watched a couple of my videos and you like what I'm talking about, then subscribe, it's free. And yeah, I'm gonna end this video here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video real soon.